Welcome to AMP 22, our annual meeting, awards ceremony, and Proform conference. I want to thank each of you, our members and our guests, who invested the time today to hear and learn how we are serving our constituents and the future of our work. Before we start, let us all have a moment of silence to memorialize those who were with us last year and who are not with us today. Those board members who've lost family members, victims in Ukraine, and yesterday's plane crash in China. Let us all have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Cvmsdc is an economic growth engine designed to help minority businesses, MBEs, grow through supply chain opportunities. As Cvmsdc celebrates 45 years of service in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, Nmsbc is celebrating 50 years of service. So to start, we are so honored to have our new national president, Ms. Ying McGuire, give a welcome, her remarks, and share with us her vision for Nmsbc. Ying has worked on the corporate side and on the MBE side, as I have. Thus, she brings to us a wealth of experience and understands both sides of the equation. Ying, welcome.
Thank you, Dominique, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dominique, for inviting me to the Carolinas, Virginia Minority Supply Development Council annual meeting. And it is my pleasure to bring greetings from the national office and congratulate this council on 40 years of services in North Carolina, South Carolina, some of my favorite places, and Virginia. It is a big year for us. We appreciate the outstanding work from Dominique and the team in providing value to our clients and our customer. We call our corporate members our customers and our MBEs our clients. And it's really a very, very exciting time as there's so many opportunities. So in this region and in our country, I recently had a conversation with one of our national corporate members, and they told me they're building new manufacturing facilities in your region, and they're determined to maximize the utilization of MBEs, and they're ready, willing, able to develop our MBEs. And so we said, hey, reach out to Dominique and her team, and I think they have done that. And so this council continues to make significant impact in this region. And is also they're forging new relationships by partnering with the Capital Region Council to bring more insights, education, and coaching to our MBEs. Thank you for your partnership. And as Dominique mentioned, this is a year of deep significance for Nmsbc and our regional council. We're turning 50 in 2022 at a time which we have unmatched momentum and commitment across all sectors for breaking racial barriers to equity. So as a network, we're elevating our brand and our messaging to demonstrate the significant value and impact of minority business development. So you may have this data, but I'm going to share with you again. Nmsbc's 15,000 certified MBEs generate about $400 billion in annual revenue and 2.2 million jobs. And it's not a small chunk of change. However, we have a long, long way to go before we can close the racial wealth gap and achieve economic equity. So most recently, you all heard we set an aspirational goal to get to 1 trillion, it is a T, in MBE revenue. And we're making very bold commitments and actions and to challenge our corporate members to increase revenue with our certified MBE by incremental 1% every year to put us on a trajectory of reaching $1 trillion in revenue in 5-6 years. And we're reimagining our program and events, and our program is going to be more curated to ensure the interactions and experience are beneficial and support our work. We're beginning this journey with our inaugural Minority Business Economic Forum, and that's on May 11th and 12th. And it is inspired by the World Economic Forum. We'll be having the forum where top leaders in politics and business and academic world come together to recalibrate MB narrative. So it will be an integral part of America's economy and really rally our network towards that 1 trillion goal. And yesterday, we were fortunate to have a conversation with the Secretary of Transportation, Buttigieg, and we shared with him that, infrastructure bill can either widen the racial wealth gap or shrink it, really depending on what administration and state local governments are going to do with implementation to ensure there's equity. And it's a once in a lifetime opportunity for MBs and for our country. And Nmsbc network want to help, and we're well positioned to help DOT and other government agencies and in your region, state local government, to ensure there's equal economic access through infrastructure investment and a job act. And we need to be an agile organization, do it quickly, bring value to our government partners and the corporate partners. And we shared with the Secretary's team a strategy of growth for MB and DB, working with them, and to make sure that we helped administration meet the metrics of success for equity. And right now they're putting a number on the table. They said they want to achieve 15% spend with SDB. So there's lots of opportunities out there, and we're having conversation in the private sector, public sector, MBEs to make sure we capture this moment and this opportunity. And this kind of meeting is very vital for us to come together to rally around this common goal. And thank you, Dominique. Have an amazing event today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Ying, and thank you for your vision to get us to $1 trillion. We have to elevate our game to be relevant for the next 50 years. And you're doing the work, you're bringing the technology to the table to make us remain relevant and to swivel, to be ready for the next 50 years. So I appreciate your leadership. And we are excited about the growth of that new corporation. I think you're talking about Toyota building a major manufacturing plant here in our footprint. And so we are very excited. We've started those conversations, and all of the new growth that we're seeing just opens up doors of opportunity for our MBEs. So thank you so much for being here, Ying. And we hope you can join us tomorrow at the CPO Summit, our first ever.
Thank you.
Now, without further ado, I'd like to bring up our title sponsor. Ruben Asando is up next, and he wants to bring his welcome from Capital One. Ruben, come on down.
Hey, Dominique, how are you?
I am great. Welcome to the stage, Ruben. Your team has done a phenomenal job pulling this together.
Yes, there's a lot of work that has gone in the background. I'm really proud to work with them. I also bring greetings from the 51,000 plus associates at Capital One. We would have loved to have hosted you all in person at our beautiful campus, but unfortunately, the pandemic is still going on, so we're unable to. At Capital One, we really understand the value of engaging diverse suppliers with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives to work side by side with us to enable us with better ideas, approaches, and solutions for our customers, associates, and communities. As a company, we find motivation in our supplier partners, and we are always looking for ways to establish mutually beneficial relationships with supplier networks. I hope this conference is able to provide all attending the opportunity to meet, greet, network, and learn. So again, welcome, and Capital One is really happy to partner with the Cvmsdc.
Thank you so much, Ruben. So now let's bring our new board chair, Ms. Deborah White from Sunoco, to the stage to bring her welcome for our business meeting that we're going to conduct in just a short while. Ruben and I will come back and go through our business meeting. Deborah, welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my esteemed pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. Over the next 2 days, we have an exciting agenda and an AMP22 conference lined up for you. We look forward to your active participation. And if you have any questions or anything that I can do to be of service to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And before I go, I'd like to give a warm thank you to our title sponsor, Capital One. Thank you, and I look forward to a great conference.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I'll see you a little bit later for the award ceremony. Thank you. So up next, I'd just like to go through the agenda for today. So just to give everybody a lay of the land of what's going to happen today and tomorrow, We're going to start out today. We've already had the welcome remarks. Now Ruben and I are going to go through the state of the council, and then we're going to have ring reports from our ring leadership. We'll have a break, and at 4:30 we'll come back at 4:30 for our award ceremony where we recognize the accomplishments of 2021. On tomorrow, which will be a corporate only event, it's our CPO panel. It's the first ever. We'll have welcome remarks. We'll have a supply chain outlook from Gartner. We'll have MBE spotlights, and we'll have a full spectrum supplier diversity roundtable with Capital One. And then we're going to have our first ever national CPO panel roundtable. So please, if you're a corporate member listening, we look forward to you coming back tomorrow. And for our MBEs, please stay with us all day today as we go into the award ceremony. So with that, next slide. I want to start out by thanking everyone for your engagement in 2021. 2021 was a record-breaking year. We have, as you will see in just a few moments, we had record-breaking savings, record-breaking income, and we're just pleased at the trajectory that we're on together to be able to do this work in supplier diversity. So next slide. Ruben, we need to thank our sponsors.
We do, and several of them on the board here. Of course, obviously, I'm not going to go through each of them, but really with the commitment that they've provided in investing in diverse suppliers enables diverse suppliers to upskill and be more competitive in the marketplace. With this lineup of corporate partners, without this lineup, we could not be serving the MBE base that we have. So thank you all for all that you do, for your commitment to investing in diverse-owned businesses, and we look forward to connecting with you all in person in August.
Absolutely. And we look forward to this slide growing because this slide has grown over the years since I joined as president in 2018. We continue to get new logos on this slide, new support. On the top, you have our corporate sponsors who provide more than $15,000 a year for us. And on the bottom, you have an additional layer of corporate sponsors who make sure that our education is covered. All of our scholarships are covered for our MBEs going to our educational program. So we're very thankful for all of our sponsors, and additional thanks to this level of sponsorship. The next slide talks about our MBEs who are sponsored at the annual level. You can see them there. And so this slide continues to grow as well. And there's plenty of opportunity for more growth here. So thank you to our MBE sponsors. All right, Ruben, let's jump into the presentation.
Yes, and let's talk about some numbers. This is a beautiful graph, one that always makes my heart smile. For the past 3 years, we've experienced some tremendous results. And of course, it even started before then. Revenues have grown steadily, as you can see. Revenues are up, expenses have been down. With an eagle's eye on expenses, the council has had surpluses over the last 3 years. The council is in a strong financial position.
Yes, and it takes an entire team to do that. We are watching our expenses, as you said, and our corporate partners are supporting us more. Our MBEs are supporting us more. So you do see that increase in revenue on a decrease in expenses. Thank you. The next slide, please.
I recall a conversation that I had with Dominique when she assumed her role as leader of the Cvmsdc. And the one thing she kept talking about was building a reserve. To look at this graph and seeing the amount that we currently have in savings, it's really impressive. And I'm also going to steal a comment that Dominique always has, which is cash is king. And you can tell here that cash is really reigning. We have been intentional and have been able to increase savings year over year. And we currently have a cash position of 1.2 million, the highest we've ever had. There is opportunity to be able to even increase that in the next coming years. But the savings are due to actually diversification of income streams. So we're able to get income from grants. We're able to get PPP loans, which were forgiven. And then most importantly, Dominique and her team have been able to do a phenomenal job of tightening the belt of the council. So expenses have been down year over year.
Thank you so much, Ruben. My goal, as I shared with you, is to build a stronger foundation, to get us to 1 million or higher. in reserve and to double our revenue. We haven't quite doubled our revenue yet, but we are on the way. And you always push for us to diversify, right? And so, getting a grant writer on board has really helped us. And so we're continuing to move in the direction to double our revenue so that we can serve more individuals. Next slide. All right, so here you can see how we're becoming more self-sufficient. Diversification is key. The more balanced we are with our income, the stronger we become to weather the storms. And as we went into COVID, before COVID, we were dependent on events to raise the money. And now you can see, if you look at 2021, it's just a bit more diverse in terms of where our revenue is coming from.
And it's a beautiful graph. If you could look at 2018 and the overdependence in events and sponsorships to now, pretty much across the board, there being a representation. But it took a lot of intentionality from Dominique and her team to look at other sectors and channels of increasing revenue to make this happen. So definitely looking forward to being able to do more of that and to have an even more diversification of our revenue streams.
Yes, absolutely. And the next slide is going to show us how Nmsbc allocations have grown. Ruben?
Yeah, we've seen an increase in Nmsbc allocations, and it's because of the work to add new national members. The phones ringing off the hook at Nmsbc with companies that want to start programs, and the bonus that the council has been getting year over year for great performance. We really haven't left any money on the table.
Absolutely. And the affiliate network is seeing a spike in corporate growth and MBE growth, which in turn strengthens the level of services that we can offer and the opportunities that our MBEs have. As Ying mentioned here, we have Toyota building a major manufacturing plant here, right? So just to think, we'll have Toyota, BMW, Mercedes, and Volvo in our footprint. That's nothing but opportunity. And 5 years ago, we only had BMW. So that is tremendous growth right there. And so that's what you see when you see more companies coming into Nmsbc, and as a result of that, our allocation gets higher. So really excited there about the opportunities. Next slide. MBEs are growing. Ruben.
I see. I mean, we added 1,000 MBEs nationally last year.
Yes.
And 114 locally. This is up from 64 2 years ago.
That's absolutely right.
What is also really critical, and I think what is driving this is the council doing a phenomenal job of driving value, providing value to MBEs to ensure that they are adequately supported.
Yes, and Margilette Brown is doing a phenomenal job making sure those MBEs are recertified each year, because it's not just enough for us to get these new MBEs. We want to be able to service them with the programs that we have to offer, and we want them to be able to see opportunities. And one of the things that we need to see change here with the MBE growth is we want to see more measurement of the opportunities. We want to be able to tell those stories. Who's getting the contracts, right? And how are the contracts growing? And so we're going to be tapping our corporate partners nationally to make sure that we are measuring the success with our MBEs and telling those stories. Next slide.
The last couple of years have seen a surge or an increase in corporation support of diverse-owned businesses. We are seeing more local members, and this is shown also by Cvmsdc. There were 14 new members in 2020 and 21 in 2021. The goal is to continue to drive and grow our corporate footprints and memberships to ultimately drive growth in the use of diverse-owned businesses. While this is really a good story, there's so much more work to be done. So if you know of any corporation out there who's currently not a member of the Cvmsdc, phone a friend.
That's correct. Thank you for that, Ruben. And last year I'm on the corporate team with Nmsbc to help bring new corporations in. And so we've done a lot of work to help our local organizations go national and then to attract new national members overall. And we saw a growth of 150 new corporate members nationally. But most of those organizations don't have supplier diversity programs in place. And so they look to Nmsbc and the local affiliates to help them to build their programs. And so that is one of the areas that we work on, is making sure that our corporate partners are growing. And that's why we're having a CPO summit tomorrow, right? To talk about what we need to do to make sure that we're increasing opportunities for MBEs and how companies need to be changing, incorporating programs to be able to increase opportunities. And so we're here to help in that regard, as well as helping our MBEs get developed to be able to be ready to respond to those opportunities that are coming down the pipe. So I'm happy to see the growth, but what we need to do, as you said, is bring more people to the table, but also partner up with them, the companies who have advanced supplier diversity programs like Capital One, like BMW, to be able to partner up with new companies coming to the table who need to strengthen their programs and learn how to be more diverse in their actions. So I'm excited about this growth. I'm excited about the opportunity for all of our MBEs, and we hope to continue to see this trajectory. Next slide. All right, so some people, want to know who does what at Cvmsdc. And so I put this in here to make sure that everybody understands, how we're structured. And so we have Greg Watson, who is the Corporate Service Director. That's a position I used to have before I became president. He's the Corporate Service Director over North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia. And Larry Jones is the Corporate Service Director over Virginia. So these are the things that they do, right? So they manage our current existing base. They make sure that if a corporate partner needs to have support in any area, if they need to have a list run, if they need to have some particular training, they're there for that. Greg actually leads the National Corporate Service Call, which is a first. We started that this year. We work on grants, we provide ring support, matchmaking, developmental programs, and we do site visits. Everybody on my team does site visits. Ruben, any thoughts here?
Yeah, having Larry in Virginia has been instrumental, right? Like being able to kind of have FaceTime, it's really kind of provided a lot of differentiation by way of hands-on customer service. And I've seen that also show itself by way of the growth that we've seen in the local market.
Excellent, excellent. And then we have Satrina. Next slide. Satrina is in the North Carolina headquarters office, and she keeps us all in line with our financials. Ruben, she makes sure that everything is in line.
That's right. Being the treasurer, I always look at those numbers, and I have really seen her do such a fantastic job keeping accounting records. As treasurer, obviously I have first line of sight to the numbers. The one thing I've really seen an improvement in, though, is the timeliness of sending invoices. She is like spot on. And you can see that with, the receivables number. So really phenomenal job that you're doing, Satrina.
Yes, so she's handling accounts management, receivables, AP payables, expense reporting, all contract coordination, ring support, site visits, and she is our auction coordinator. So we are just happy to have Satrina in our headquarters location to keep us in line. Thank you, Satrina. So next up, we have our team in Virginia.
Yeah, so during COVID, you added 3 full-time employees, which was really awesome. Adding Leslie in Virginia and Larry made us very efficient. And with the growth in certification, the extra support is more than valuable. One of the things that is, I think, critical is making sure that the value proposition is one that we are really kind of bringing to the forefront. And having Larry as well as Leslie is really going to help us be able to do that.
Yes, thank you so much. And Marjolette and Leslie make a great team. As you know, Marjolette works with Nmsbc. She's nationally recognized for her work with certification. And she's on the Nmsbc task force. And she leads us each year with stellar reports. So, part of how we're ranked as a council, it depends on how our reporting goes in. And Marjolette makes sure that we are on time. So you see on the screen the division of their duties. Leslie, who reports to Marjolette, she handles recertifications and all those other items that are listed there. And Marjolette focuses on new certifications and all the items that are listed there. So we are pleased to have them. And as you said, to be able to add 3 full-time people during COVID was tremendous. But we were very happy to be able to do that while keeping our numbers positive, as we started out saying. All right, so next slide. So, we have, I call them my small and mighty team. There's 7 of us. Debbie Pettigrew, who is our event planner, my assistant, has recently left us. And so we will be backfilling that position, but we had 7 going into the beginning of the year. But with the 7 of us, there's no way in the world that we could accomplish all that we need to accomplish. And that's why we employ a contractor model. So we have a contractor, Clifton Clark is our CIO. Then we have VK Fields, who handles all of our public relations. We have an accounting team with Celestine and Johan. They handle all of our accounting. We have a benefits person, James Mills. And then we have Cami, who handles all of our HR. We have Simone Sumlin, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit about how she handles our social media, which is new. And we just hired Kima Washington to handle all of our marketing. So we've never had a marketing arm before. And Lasagna Berry, I'm going to call this her result, because she kept saying, you need better marketing, you need better marketing. And, you know, believe it or not, that was one of my majors in business school, but we now have a marketing arm with us, and that is helping us tremendously. He did all the graphics for us today, and he's redesigning our website, which we're going to talk about in a little while. But this is how we make it work. In addition to the contractors, you'll hear from our ring leaders a little bit later, and those are the extended arms of the council that give us additional strength to make our work reach further than the 7 of us. All right, so let's jump. Yes?
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
We all work differently now, right? We're seeing a trend in how people work as a result of COVID. The council did a very good job to go virtual very quickly when the pandemic hit. And that has really resulted in a reduced office space need, where now it uses a shared model, more like a plug and play. In 2023, as the treasurer, I'm expecting to see our rent go down, and this will also impact our financials and bottom line significantly, since rent is one of the higher expenditure items on the income statement.
Yes, absolutely. And Ruben, you know, it's a tall feat to move the main headquarters to a historic workspace in the Uptown in Charlotte. It's a huge savings for us there. I don't think we've thrown any paper away since the beginning of time. And so we're in the process of getting that all cleaned up and moved over. But that, you know, to be in that historic building in the Uptown in Charlotte, it's like a plug and play space, as you said, is going to save us tremendously. We have more meeting space there, less office space, but more meeting space. And in Charleston, we're operating with a meeting space only venue. It's the Opportunity Center with the Women's Business Center here in Charleston. And then there are other community organizations in that same building. And in Richmond, we moved from downtown, where we were given space from Dominion Energy, to a short pump area that is co-located with an MBE. So we're being wiser in the space that we're utilizing, and that's helping us to save money.
So the Cvmsdc is one of 23 councils. Currently, our ranking is 3 out of 23, and that is good. But Dominique, that also tells me there are 2 other councils that are ahead of us. So that is my charge to you.
Okay.
The Nmsbc looks at growth, financial strength, compliance with reporting, and self-sufficiency in coming up with which council, and the rankings for the council. I am really proud of the position that we have of being number 3. It really has also impacted the bonuses that we get from the Nmsbc. So this is a really big team win for us all.
Yes, absolutely. And we added, you know, Ying alluded to this in the beginning, the collaboration that we've had with the Capital Region. We went in and we bidded together on the MBDA Center for Virginia. And this is a historic grant. And so we now operate together the MBDA Center in Virginia, and they are co-located in the office space with us. And Tracy Wiley Jeter, who was the previous president of the Virginia region, is now a consultant with us at that MBDA Center. So very excited about that grant, very excited about Ying McGuire joining us, bringing her level of experience to the table, and the 5 new board members that you see there that joined us in 2021. Very excited about them. Next slide, please. All right, so we talked about growth beyond expectation. We talked about the 150 new corporate members that have joined us. There's nothing but opportunity, opportunity, opportunity for our MBEs. Nmsdc has unveiled a Meet the New program. You have to, tune into our newsletter on a regular basis to make sure that you are finding out when the Meet the New meetings are. But we've had MBEs to get results from these sessions. And so Meet the New is where our new corporate partners coming in from Nmsbc provide information on what they have to offer. We're adding these new members to our rings. We need everybody to show up and be present in our ring meeting so that you are hearing where the opportunities are. You need to register in our portals. And matchmaking is available at the national level as well as the local level. We're going to have matchmaking come back in person in August 8th and 9th at our BOC conference, which will be our 45th annual BOC conference. So I encourage everybody to come to the table. The fact that, we grew with 114 MBEs, as Ruben said earlier, 12 new companies, that is, that brings nothing but opportunity for our MBEs. Next slide.
So while all events were virtual in 2021, we had some really powerful speakers, Dominique.
Yes, we did. We had, my favorite story was at BOC. I had talked an MBE. I said, you really need to join the conference. And the night before he joined the conference, and he listened to Janice Bryan Howard talk about how she asked for a contract, how she asked for an order. And she strengthened the fact that we need to ask for what we want, right? And how she won a contract. And when he listened to that, he called me up. He says, Dominique, I was going to let this particular contract go. But after I heard that, I called up my client and I said, I really am still interested in this business. And that same week, he got a reorder for $120,000 because he asked for the order. And I said, oh, you paid $49 to come to our conference and you got a $120,000 order out of it. I said, yeah, that's the type of return I'd like to see.
Yeah, that is a great return on investment for sure.
Yes, yes. And so MBEs, we need you to sign up. I thank you for those who are here today, corporate partners who are here today. But, my team works diligently to make sure that we're bringing speakers, we're bringing developmental opportunities to you so that you can continue to grow. So each year we have annual meeting, we have Pro Forum, we have the MBE Summit, and then we have BOC. This just shows you, the numbers of people that were there and the speakers that we had. So we had an A list of speakers. And at BOC 2022, we're going to have Ying McGuire as a speaker. The theme is women in leadership as well as technology, opportunities in technology. So I invite you to mark your calendar August 8th and 9th for that particular event. All right, moving on along. We are talking about showing up to grow up, Ruben.
That's right. It is so important. If we can learn anything from the last few years, you cannot sit and not reimagine doing business a different way. And one of the ways is through development, learning, expanding the capabilities of your business. The development of diverse businesses is critical because it enables them to upscale and be more competitive in the marketplace. Corporate commitments in investments, in scholarships really help turn out record number of participants in the programs that the Cvmsdc provides to MBEs.
Yes, absolutely. And if you see over on the left, we had a record year where we sent a large number of people to Sunoco Leadership Program. And then we had 17 people go through the University of Richmond. To date, I think we've had about 220 people go through that customized program. And then we had 8 people go through TUP. That is a record. Normally we send 1 to 3 people. Last year we were able to send 8 people to TUP because of the scholarships provided from our corporate members. And we have a saying that you have to slow down to speed up. You have to take the time to invest in yourself, invest in your business so that you're working on your business versus working in your business. And that will help always ready you for changes occurring in the marketplace and being able to respond to your customer needs. So you'll see in the middle different developmental opportunities. We had MBE to MBE Connect. We had virtual capability briefings. We created virtual capability briefings because our MBEs couldn't be in front of our customers. And so we wanted to record their capability briefing, and they now live on our website, and they also live on the websites of the members who recorded them. So that is just a live briefing that our corporate members can go in and listen to. If you're looking for a particular MBE, we have those virtual virtual capability briefings available for you. We had lunch and learns with our new corporate clients. And then we brought to the table an MBE IC learning series, as well as MBE to MBE Connect that's going to be coming back very soon. So lots of opportunities. But I will say, I see the same people show up over and over again at our events. And I'm looking for new people to show up and to get engaged and to grow their business. Because when you become a member of CVMSDC, the way the program really works is that you have to get engaged. You have to come to the table. You have to partake in the programs that we have for you so that you can grow and see opportunities. Okay, so let us move on to the next slide. This is one of my favorites. Looking at social media, Ruben. No, here we're looking at the grants. Yes, this is the grant slide.
Certification.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, certification grants.
So certification is really critical. Corporate members like Capital One only count spend from diverse suppliers who are certified. Now, what does certification really mean? For a company like Capital One, being regulated and in the financial services industry, we really depend on the certification process as the initial kind of gate towards identifying top diverse businesses. So it's really critical because most companies like Capital One only count or include in their diverse spend certified diverse suppliers. Even though certification is not that expensive for a small business, sometimes it does add up. So corporations really stepping up and providing grants and supporting the Cvmsdc to be able to provide scholarships to enable diverse businesses towards their certification is one way that we can support diverse owned businesses.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the logos that you see there are companies that stepped up and gave us grants to help MBEs get certified during COVID, and that made a huge difference. And we're seeing that across the board nationally. I want to also stress the importance of reading the newsletter. I said that earlier today, but this came out of the newsletter. Spectrum was offering $15,000 grants for those who applied, right? And so we had a group of people to apply. I think there were 7 individuals who were selected for the $15,000 grant. What Spectrum Reach did was they created a commercial, a professional commercial, and they spent $15,000 in airtime for those MBEs. But you had to be at the table. You had to read the newsletter, and then you had to apply. And that's just invaluable to get $15,000 investment in your business to help market your business. It was just tremendous. And that was one of the great wins in 2021. So retooling and capital, we have a BCF fund coming out of Nmsbc, providing microloans to our MBEs. We provided PPP loans to MBEs who were having trouble getting PPP loans from the bank. So there is plenty of opportunity there for you. And again, we had the full staff in 2021, and we're looking to add more staff in 2022. So make sure to read the newsletter and make sure, we're going to talk about social media next. Make sure, tap next slide, please. Make sure that you are following us on social media, because last year we hired a social media expert, and she really worked to increase our friends and our likes and reposted. And so I need everyone listening to follow us on social media, because there's just so much information that's shared there. We like to share our stories of success there. And so it's working for us. Hadn't worked in the past, but it's starting to work for us now, right? Next slide. So next slide, we hired a new marketing firm, Ruben.
Yes, we did. And the changes really is compelling. I see a lot of, there is an it factor with everything that I see coming out from the Cvmsdc. The designs are crisp, and I can really tell there's been a good return on that investment.
Yes, absolutely. And technology, one of my themes this year is using technology for velocity, right? So we have to work smarter versus harder. And technology is key. If you come to our website and you visit and we don't know that you came there, that's just lost opportunity. We want to be able to track who came there. We're going to create a private site for our members, our corporate members and our MBEs to go in and get private information. Hopefully this information will be the first, this conference will be the first that's stored on our website for people to go back and see and track that information. But, being able to talk to the people that visited our website, being able to track with artificial intelligence what's going on and to be smarter is important. And then in addition to that, next slide, we're going to add a CRM.
That's right. It is really critical. A CRM will help Cvmsdc better manage its customer base and provide more touch points. At Capital One, technology and data drives everything that we do. And in the last 2 years, to teach us anything, or if we can learn anything from the last 2 years, I think, Dominique, you couldn't have said it better. Technology is the way to work smarter. So definitely we need to upscale with our technological capabilities and help the Cvmsdc become more competitive.
Yes, absolutely. And Ruben, I don't think I shared this with you before, but I had an aha moment. We were visiting Capital One time, and I had an aha moment because you said, we're not in the credit business, right? We're in the data business. And I was like, we all need to look at the new business that we're in, right? We're not in the certification business anymore. We're in the growth business. We're here as an economic growth engine to help our MBEs to grow. So our MBEs need to be looking at, what business are you really in? And how are you using technology to help catapult that business? We got a grant this year from Wells Fargo, and it was for an R3 boot camp. And the focus of the grant was to share with MBEs new technologies that they could utilize to be able to grow their business. So we looked at call centers. We looked at a variety of different ways in which they could catapult their business. Meta is now offering MBEs to buy their contract. So if somebody got a $10 million contract with Capital One, an invoice for $10 million, and you were going to pay them in 30 days, they could take that to Meta and get paid in 3 days. And so there's so many different ways that technology and companies are repositioning themselves to be able to help our MBEs to be smarter. I'm just amazed at what we can do with what already exists, right? And then the things, you don't know what you don't know, but we're learning every day. And I encourage our MBEs to tune in, because when we learn something, we're passing that on to our MBEs so that they can use technology in a different way.
And with technology also comes the whole concern with cyber risk. So as you're advancing your technological footprint, definitely don't leave that behind. Make sure that you have cyber experts also looking at those capabilities for you to protect any backdoors that may exist.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Ruben, that ends our overview of what we accomplished in 2021. Now we're going to make a transition, and we're going to bring our immediate past chair, Jeff Conley, to the stage, because we want to recognize him. Jeff, it has been a pleasure to work with you over the last 2 years. And we're excited that you're going to still be with us as the immediate past chair, but we just are so appreciative of all the work that you have done.
I really love Jeff's vest today. I mean, he is on point. And Jeff, I have really enjoyed working with you. Obviously being on the board, but you've always been someone that I could call to for counsel on anything relating to supply diversity. And I knew I will always lead the conversation with either an answer to the question, or you connected me to someone with the answer to the question. So thank you very much for your support.
Yes, and I have to tell a funny story. So when Jeff came on board, we immediately went into COVID. And so our first event we had to have virtually, I said, Jeff, we're wearing blue. He says, we're color coordinating, Dominique? And so I said, yes, Jeff, wear your blue tie. So today he gets on, he says, oh, color's red. I know we need to be color coordinated. So
absolutely. I am obedient, and that's for sure. Ruben, thank you so much. Thank you, Capital One, for being our sponsor of this event. So very excited about this inaugural event. And what I would say to all of our attendees is support Capital One. And I put my money where my mouth is. I don't know if you can see, this is my Capital One credit card. Nobody told me you all were not in the credit business. So I'm still using my credit card, okay? What's in your wallet? But at any rate, we are so excited about this 2-day event, the support that we've received from Capital One. And I, much like each one of you, applaud Dominique and her team for the results that we have just heard in this annual meeting. And it was hard to compile so many successes into such a short presentation. We could have used all day today, basically, to talk about the successes of CVMSDC in the midst of a pandemic. And so I'm extremely proud of them. Proud of the CVMSDC board. Dominique said that this was my swan song. So if you guys have about 30 minutes, I have presentation, that I'm making. No, I'm not gonna take you that way, but I would be remiss would I not, if I did not take the opportunity to thank the awesome CVMSDC board and for the role that each one of you has played in the successes. We could not have met those numbers. We could not be third in the nation without a dedicated and committed board. And like Dominique said, I assumed the role in January of 2020, and nobody has to tell you what happened in March of 2020. So my entire tenure has been virtual, but I have had dedicated and committed folks who have helped push me. And I said to Dominique, not only did they push me, they held me accountable. So I'm so excited for what is to come. The leadership of this board was truly life-changing and one that I will never forget. So all of us have been little kids before, and I was one of those, and I was a little bit mischievous. And when my mom dropped me off at the babysitter, you have to be from the country to understand this. She said, "Now don't show off, because I'm gonna get you when I get back." So I say that to our board members as I pass the gavel to our new board chair, Deborah White. Please don't show off, because I've told her how great you all are. But I'm excited about the leadership that Deborah will bring to CVMSDC and how she will continue the great success and legacy that has already been established, and the opportunity to be able to work with Dominique and continue to see the successes go forward. So thank you so very much for everyone. It does my heart well. Dominique, thank you so much for making a special trip to Richmond on last week just to celebrate me, my leadership, and those here in Virginia. It meant the world to me. And so your thoughtfulness will always be appreciated. Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you so much, Jeff. And I want to give you the honor on the next slide to introduce our new board members.
Absolutely. I am following along here. So our new board members are Wendell Brown. Wendell is with Wells Fargo, Dallas Dance, Alex Moore, Derek Davis, Andrea Horn, and Kathy Williams. Those are our newest CVMSDC board members. We're excited that they have started their tenure with us already.
Thank you. Ruben? Are you on mute, Ruben?
Diversity of thought is key. I am looking at this, and I'm glad to see the growth of the board, but I also like the different the diversity that is shown with this incoming new class. So definitely, I know that the CVMSDC is going to be in great hands and move the agenda and journey forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And I've enjoyed seeing the diversity and the growth on our board in the last 3 years. It's just been ongoing, but just to see people wanting to come back, like Kathy's coming back to us on the board, and Derek's been with us for a while. Wendell's new, but Andrea's stepping up to be on the executive board, and she's been in ring leadership for some time. But Dallas Dance and Alex Moore and Derek Davis, all three have we are very successful MBEs, and to see them join us at this level and to lend their expertise, it's going to take us to the next level. So we're excited about that.
And Dominique, I would share as well. I know I got a little off script, so I'm going to make sure that I don't hear from you after this call. One of the things that I wanted to make sure that we did as well is to thank our executive committee. Our executive committee is a subset of the board, and they work extremely hard in preparing for our board meetings. We do dry runs. Dominique and her team have to provide us information well in advance of our board meetings. And our executive committee basically comes together and talks about what we could anticipate in a meeting. Ruben, yourself on that board, Louise Canal, who was at BMW.
Next slide. Yep.
LaSonia Berry, Roger Stone, Vincent Tucker. Those were our executive board members, and we wish them well because their success, we would not be successful without them. I definitely want to also thank Larry Fairley and Priscilla Wallace for their service with us.
Thank you. And Ruben, that was your executive team?
That was the executive team. That is right. That is right.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed all the meetings that we had. There was a lot of learning, but what I really loved there was how we were all very respectful and disagreed whenever we had disagreements, but we were always able to work through solutioning. What made us work was the diversity of thought. We weren't all kind of like mind. We came in with different perspectives, but we left with addressing solutions that were always meant to advance the agenda of CVMADC.
Yes, excellent. Well, I have enjoyed working with the both of you. I'm going to miss both of you on the executive team. And Priscilla Wallace, she also has made a transition to Wells Fargo in a higher position, but she made sure that she had a replacement on the board for her position. I need to note that Priscilla used to work at the council, as did Jeff. Jeff had my previous position at the council that Greg now has. And so there's a lot of history. Once you get involved with this council, you don't want to leave because the work is important. And we're all here because we believe in the work that we're doing. So I just want to thank each of you. And I want to thank Larry Fairley, our past NBEIC chair. He'd been with us as long as I had a conversation with him the other day about how long he'd actually been with CVMSDC and the different roles that he's played. Next slide. So the next slide is a fun slide. Because of COVID, I had to do like a round robin tour. I had to go to Virginia. As Jeff said, I went to Virginia and surprised them on last Monday night. We had a little dinner and we had some gift giving. We had gifts instead of trophies, and we had a MBE. Her name is Cvmsdc, and she created these leather bags. And so everybody got a different type of leather bag. I had a session in Greenville with Louise and with Roger. We had some video sessions with Larry. And, I just tried to get everybody in. I had Lasagna on video, and she just, you see her on the top right there smiling, seeing her bag. So it was fun. We had a lot of fun doing this. I still owe Kinston and Priscilla a dinner in Charlotte, but to get their gifts, they will be coming to them shortly. But, you have to have fun. You have to be creative in this COVID situation to make sure that you're reaching out to everybody and you're recognizing them. And so we greatly appreciate this board that's transitioning off, and we're very excited about the board that is joining us. The next slide. So we want to start with the next slide. Jeff, talk about the NBEIC chair role there.
Absolutely. I will say you never know what you're going to get with Dominique. She said to me, I'm going to be coming through Virginia and would like for you to have dinner. And I did not know what that meant because I didn't know what coming through, like where are you going? But I'm always down for a good meal. And so the surprise of gifts and recognition really did warm my heart. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm excited about the NBEIC chair, the slide that you see. One of the things that was important to me was ensuring that there was great succession planning for this CVMSDC organization. And I'm a part of the nominating committee that is led by Chiquita Lloyd. And we want to make sure that we have a great amount of bench strength so that there's continuity throughout. And we had a bit of a gap, and we didn't know how we were going to fill that, but we knew we certainly needed to. And the two gentlemen that you see on the screen now jointly are going to transition us to the next level relative to the NBEIC. Dr. Kinston Griffin, who you will see and hear from later, is the current interim NBEIC chair with co-chair Ron Harvey. And they both bring a wealth of MBE knowledge to the role. They're very passionate about MBEs and MBE development, and they're not afraid to ask the questions that MBEs have on their mind. And so when I've been in meetings with them, I've always thanked them for helping the corporates see things from a different perspective, and that being the MBEs. So I say to our MBEs who are attending, you are in great hands with these two, and leverage them so that your voice will be heard.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so excited about the energy I call him Dr. G, that he brings to the table. He's on an airplane right now listening in. He can't talk, but he says, Dominic, I'm here on the airplane listening in. So I appreciate him. And Ron Harvey, greatly appreciate him. You know, I met him at a conference and got him to get involved. And he started out volunteering, and now look where he is. He's about to be our NBIC chair. So you never know where a volunteering gig will land you. So I appreciate everyone. And Dr. G says, hello, everyone from the airplane. I love technology. Look at us. Look at us.
Tell you, I bet it is taking all it can. It takes all he can on that airplane to be quiet. But that is Dr. G. That's the one we know.
Yes,
and he's probably
yes,
talking
yes.
to people around him like, hey, so this is what I'm doing. Have you
Exactly.
considered? He's selling
jumping up in his-
Cvmsdc in the air. We know
yeah,
he will.
Exactly. I'm loving this. Everybody's chiming in. Okay, so next slide, we want to introduce to you the new board, the new executive board. And Jeff, you have the honors here. Jeff, can you hear us?
Okay,
Can you
only
see the slide?
only one time would you have to say that, Jeff, you're on mute, and that was it. I promise you will not have to do it over the next 2 days, but thank you. I had muted myself. So our new board, as you've heard already, Deborah White. Deborah White is no stranger to this council, and so very, very faithful. And I'm excited about her leadership, the expertise that she will bring. Deborah and I have been meeting for the past 6 months so that there would be a smooth transition. And I actually will be there to support her in whatever she needs. So Deborah White will be our next board chair. She's our current board chair. We have Jonathan Wilkins, who is the first vice chair. Jonathan is a hard worker as well. Can't say enough about him, and he's looking forward to as well. It's transition, so he's going to be partnering very closely with Deborah because from that seat, he would move into that chair role. Dallas Simmons, who is so active in all of our markets, but specifically here in Virginia with Dominion Energy, is the treasurer. We're excited about that. Dallas is a numbers guy, so he is going to carry on the tradition that Ruben has established. And Andrea Horn was so kind to meet with me about 4 months ago, and I did a Dominique to her like, hey, I just want to chat with you. Let's talk about some stuff. I don't think she knew what she was getting herself into, but she very, very willingly, with great enthusiasm, said, whatever I can do to support this board, I will. And so she accepted that role of secretary. And so thank you so much for that, Andrea, and for even taking my calls if it becomes a job. And we've also talked about Dr. Kinston Griffin in that NBEIC chair, in that co-chair role, setting up a transition for the ultimate with who our final chair will be. And that other dude with the shiny forehead is the immediate past chair, and that would be Jeff Conley. So thank you all so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Ruben, any comments from you?
I was going to say, like, knowing each of these new executive board members and just hearing you, Jeff, talk about them, I have no doubt that they're going to be great in supporting you, Dominique, and leading to elevate the Cvmsdc. And of course, for all of us who are transitioning, similar to Jeff, we are going to be available and ready to kind of support you all in any way to ensure that you're able to perform your functions to support the council effectively.
Well, thank you both. Thank you for your terms on the board. And I would say your volunteer terms on the board, because Dr. G is always quick to say, this is not a paid board. I'm on some paid boards, but this one is not a paid board. But so I always have to say, I so appreciate my entire volunteer board, because we could not do what we do without the executive team and the entire board's representation. So I thank you, thank you, thank you. And tomorrow we're going to roll up our sleeves and do some work. And I know Deborah has some new structure and new strategies that she wants to put in place for her board meetings. And Deborah and Kinston and I have been meeting. We are the three-legged stool. It comes down from Nmsbc that way, that your corporate chair, your NBIC chair, and the president are to meet together to move the work of this organization along. And so I have everybody's cell phone number in my phone, and you all know that we're just all a text away. So I appreciate your leadership. Next slide, please. So you all know I am a salesperson and I never like to end a meeting without a call to action. And so this is a study that was conducted by Supplier IO, and the study says that we currently have a 100-year wealth gap in America. And that's sad because that means if we look at it that way, it won't be closed in any of our lifetimes. But it goes on to say that if every corporation, every entity, every organization, that means everybody on this call can be very intentional and make a difference. If every company just increases spend by 1% a year for the next 15 years, we can close that wealth gap. So that's just an increase of 1% for every company. We know that everybody can do much, much more than that. So I just want to implore everyone to make sure that you are doing your part so that every opportunity, every RFP, every bid includes supplier diversity in that bid, that you are intentional in making sure that doors are open, opportunities are fair, and that there is a way for our MBEs to grow and strengthen the economy with inclusion. So I want to close with that. We are going to take a break. Next slide, please. Next slide will say, I want to close with that for everyone listening. BOC, mark your calendar. BOC is August 8th and 9th. What is going to happen now is we're going to take a 15-minute break. We're going to come back at 3:15. Next slide, please. We're going to come back at 3:15 with our ring leadership to give you an overview of what's happening in the rings. The rings are our small work groups geographically dispersed throughout this footprint, and that is really where the work of the council is executed. So come back at 3:15. We'll be right here. You can just turn your cameras off or whatever you need to do, walk away, get a little break, and come back at 3:15 for the ring reports. And then at 4:30, we're going to go into our award ceremony, which is going to be quite fun. I'm so excited about this format, about this, the background work that's being done by Capital One. You have us looking mighty good there. And so I'm really excited that we've been able to execute on this platform with Capital One's team behind the scenes. Thank you so much. All right, folks, let's take a break.